I thought we were live.
We are now.
We are now.
Welcome to Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi and Johnny Cleveland. Part of the Fanatical L's Network, fans first. Join us now. Join us now. Yeah, here we are. There's Lou. I'm Johnny. Welcome to another Stirring the Pot, a Tuesday night affair because the Brownies played on Monday Night Football. Lou, I'm tired. How about you?
I'm good.
You're good.
I'm
I'm
on energy drinks. You know what I drink? I drink energy drinks. That's why I have such a volatile temper.
Well, I'm drinking the Diet Coke right now.
You're
So,
drinking no, I'm talking Red Bull on steroids.
what time
So
did you get to bed? Did you stay up for the whole thing?
I stayed up for the whole thing. I was in bed, I think around quarter to midnight or something like that. And I
Okay.
watched the game. And, I took it in. I was taking it in like, okay, this was a very fun game to watch. And I gave credit to Denver's offense, especially Bo Nix. The 190-yard touchdown pass was that was a thing of beauty. I mean, he hit the perfect throw.
Didn't you think it was going to get intercepted for a moment?
I thought it was going to get intercepted or batted away. And I was like, oh my God, he caught that. And it was just like, sometimes you tip your hat. You just go, man, that was good. Mm-hmm. And I will say, you give up 2 pick sixes, you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. But at the same time, to see I think Kozar had a 500-yard game in the playoffs once, and
he did.
I think it was against the Jets. I want to say the double overtime against the Jets.
Yes.
I'd have to look that up, but I was trying to say I think but that was a playoff game, and I know this was a regular season franchise record. And Winston's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. Hey, thanks, Brian. Thank you for reaching out. Thanks for commenting, man. I appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, Lou. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. I'm here. I'm here. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like they didn't play Nick Chubb as much because I think they know there's a short week going into Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I think that was my thinking what they were doing, and they're being careful with them these last 5 weeks. Well, we're not going to the playoffs.
No, we're not.
There's no reason to. No, this is it.
Now we're talking season for the Stefanski to be under 500 as a coach out of the 5 years.
Out of the 5 years, and if I'm not mistaken, it will be his third season without a playoff appearance. So he's got 2 playoff appearances with 1 playoff win against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I think, really. This whole thing, I honestly believe this. And if you did you listen to Aikman and Joe Buck last night?
Oh yeah, I mean Aikman's comment there at the end when they were talking before halftime,
like what would this team look like if they started Winston from the start?
Yes,
and I said, well, they were not mentioning because it took Conklin a while to get back. Wyatt Teller and Ethan Posick were out for a while. I think Petonio might have been out too for a little bit. We were down to our 4th string center against the Raiders. So there was a lot of offensive line injuries as well. Plus Jed Wills just was not ready. He's still not ready. So I'm just thinking
will he ever be ready?
Will they ever be ready? I don't know. But Jermaine Ifedi did a pretty good job. I mean, considering all things considering, I think DeJuan Jones is our left tackle next year.
He was sacked 3 times yesterday. Winston 3 times. He's got 16 sacks.
Compared to Watson getting sacked 7 or 8.
7,000 times.
Yeah, whatever in a game. And it's just like, God. Well, Watson always had the propensity to hold the ball because he's trying to hit that home run ball. He always did that. He didn't. Plus you add it with a poor line or banged up line. It's a recipe for disaster. Watson severely underperformed this year. And I think if we maybe had Winston playing with this line from day one, we probably win a couple of those games that we lost in the beginning of the season.
True.
We could have 6 or 7 wins right now.
Well, and last night when I was doing the post-game show,
I thoughts, of course, but go
ahead. I touched on just exactly what you just said, but in the end, the other story coming out of this is, Browns fans debating about, where we're at. And, last night was a lot of fun for some Browns fans. It was entertaining. The Browns lost 41-32. Winston goes for 497 yards passing. Jerry Jeudy went for 235 yards. I mean, it was really a high, powerful back and forth. But then on the other hand, Browns fans, especially some of us who are in the older category, look at this, and we've seen a lot of Browns games over the years. It's just another loss. It doesn't really, even though, should we really consider it fun? We're still like 3-9. So
yeah,
where do you fall in that? Where do you fall in that category?
Well, we're still 3-9, but I'm looking at what we're going to be building on for next year. How about that? Because we already know. Because I didn't think we were going to make the playoffs even before the game last night. Like, okay, what do we build? What are we building towards? Who can we look at? Because we got to answer the question at quarterback. Because we talked before the show. Nathan Segura said something.
Yeah, tell people what he said, because
he basically said we know who we can't go with next year. And this is a show that's owned and produced by the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
That's why that's big, because normally he's kind of like, I don't want to say he's a shill, but he's limited and handcuffed on what he can say and do, because he's worked for the team. The team signs his paycheck, so he's going to do what they tell him.
Yeah.
Which any of us would if we were in that position too.
Right.
So, but for him to say that was because they let him say that. Now, somebody else said this too. I'm not going to say his name, but somebody I do respect, saying the divorce is beginning.
Okay.
With Deshaun Watson and the Browns. How it plays out, it remains to be seen. Will he just stay on the roster for 2 more years and they just let him? They keep him inactive, don't even bother with him, just pay him, or do they buy him out and take the cap hit? What's going to happen? Is he going to retire? Because
what about Winston? Let's then.
I think Winston will be the bridge guy moving forward.
Okay, because is he a free agent right now? Is that, I mean,
he will be if we let him go. I think we'll give him a 2-year contract, 2 or 3-year deal, and if we don't draft somebody this offseason, I think a guy they're going to look at seriously next year, and I'm talking 2026 draft. Drew Allar, Penn State, kid from Medina.
Yeah,
I think he's on their radar.
So, you see somebody like last night, Bo Nix, who had played 3 years at Auburn, 2 years at Oregon.
Great game. Kid played a great game.
I mean,
played a great game.
Yeah.
I give him credit. Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny because they were just talking during that broadcast with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, before he hit that 93-yard pass play.
Was it? It was like 90-ish or something.
They were saying how the Browns seemed to have got him rattled, and he was kind of out of sorts. And then
all of a sudden he does that.
He completes this beautiful pass but the Winston's credit and the Jerry Jeudy's credit, for God's sakes, in the next play for the Browns offense, they hit a 70-yard pass play going the other direction. Jerry Jeudy, let's talk about him.
Oh, we can. Yeah, we talk a whole show about that game.
Jerry Jeudy, man. Looking at his stats just the last few weeks, I mean, obviously, Winston coming in. I mean, Elijah Moore last night had 8 catches for 111 yards. He's never gone over the century mark as a Cleveland Brown, and Elijah Moore had 111 yards. But Jerry Jeudy, going back to Denver, he really played it up, getting the scores. And, oh my gosh! Now that's entertainment.
That was entertainment right there.
That goes back to like your wrestling days, right? With,
Yes. My wife was like, "Why don't you just run into the end zone? Why is he hot dogging it?"
Right?
Right. He's like, "Oh, something bad's gonna."
But happen. The Browns, like, as a Browns fan, I see him run there to the goal line, and I'm thinking, this is the worst thought. Like somehow he's going to drop the ball before
we're immediately waiting for the worst to happen. Aren't we always doing that?
It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. But no, Jerry Jeudy was amazing, and he's 25 years old. And people have talked about this kid, and the Browns have had an interest in him coming into this last couple of years. I mean, he really was hightailing it. I mean,
think about this. Just think about this. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. You want to finish?
No, I was done.
Okay, when I was talking about because what I'm thinking, I'm not thinking playoffs. I'm not thinking if I said, okay, what are we building on for next year? What are we doing? Because I think like when I did the pregame show with before the Steelers game, and I showed up, looked like I was broadcasting from the North Pole.
Yes,
Um,
that's right.
and I couldn't hear anything because I was right by the stadium speakers and it was so loud.
Right.
But but like there was reports coming out that Stefanski and Barry's jobs were safe. They're gonna be with the team next
Yes.
year, and most of the fans that I talked to were okay with it. They
Mhm.
were okay with it. They were fine.
Mhm.
They didn't say, "Oh, great news! Oh, that's perfect. That's awesome." They said, "I'm okay with that." Like they can understand. They're like, "Okay." I think they
Yeah.
knew their hand was forced into playing Watson
Mhm.
in the beginning of the season, and
Mhm.
once you go to like that 1-6 and
Well,
1-7,
and Troy
it's hard to take.
Aikman Troy Aikman was talking a little bit about the overall thing because
Right.
we talk about this too, like, the Browns defense was number 1 last year, and
They're
now they're kind
24th.
of they're in the middle of the pack or toward the end. I was looking at, like, they're ranked differently if you look at different rankings, like, via the pass. They're
I thought
more
they're more
kind of in the
middle. They're
middle.
like 16th or
Yeah.
17th
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah,
But
they're
but
middle
the
of the pack.
idea that, we've that
There's two
Aikman
reasons for that.
was bringing it up is that you have a team that is being hampered, and even though your defense
It's
is,
good.
good, you're still being affected because your offense under Deshaun Watson was so pathetic, and putting that defense out there all day long, it just created more
And you're
strain and
against
pressure.
NFL offenses. These are NFL offenses. These are the best of the best that are out there playing
Right.
in any team, any given day, of course. So yeah, so it's the opposite of complimentary. It's non-complimentary football. So
Right.
the offense wasn't complimenting the defense. So I say I'm ready to say throw all this shit out. Forget this
Mhm.
season. It's a mulligan.
Mhm.
Let's see how many games we can win. Let's see what we can build on for next year. But think about it. Do you think they have to worry about trading for or getting a number one wide receiver? Do you think they
No.
have to worry about trading for a left tackle?
Yes.
You think so? You don't think Dewan Jones is the answer, or do you think they're going to run him
Oh,
out?
left tackle? Oh, well, no, I mean, if you're are you we're assuming that DeJuan Jones is going to left tackle then, and we're
Right.
gonna get
He
rid of
already.
Jed.
Yeah, we played. Jed Wills is gone.
Okay.
They're already done. They're
Okay.
done with him. They're
Okay.
done with Watson. That you.
Yes, then I would
So
say yes. I
okay.
would,
So we're okay at left tackle to run out Dewan Jones
but
next year.
here's the thing, like, I was talking to Steve Gill, our counterpart with the Dog Pound Daily, and I
Mhm.
was listening to his show earlier today that he produced, and he's talked about this a couple times, and I think it's something that we really need to look at here in the Fanatical L's and as fans, is that the offensive line, and let's talk just for a second about offensive line and, like, Nick Chubb before the injury and things. Steve basically said he thinks more and more now, and I kind of agree with some of what he's saying, is that Nick Chubb is such a special running back. Before he got injured, he was doing things that was really helping the offensive line even look better than they probably were. And a lot of people
Yeah.
now currently are complaining, saying, "Oh, what's happened to our offensive line?" But maybe, like Steve's suggesting, they weren't all that great, and they're aging, and they're getting old. They're older, and so
Mhm.
we need to revamp that. We need to get some more youth in there, some younger
Well,
guys.
you had the draft picks of Zach Zinner, Luke Whippler, um, Ethan Posick was a free agent. He's a younger guy. Because why? Because Joe Batoni might be retired after this year. So
Correct.
Zinter was drafted. Zinter was a project. If he would have been a late first round pick, if he didn't break his leg,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
He's basically coming back. Chubb's coming back still. He might look more like himself early next season, training
Mhm.
camp next season, because that's almost like a 2-year injury to
Mhm.
get over. So but my point being was with Dewan Jones is he's only in his second year. He just has to stay healthy. That's the
Mhm.
problem. I could see them trying to bring in more younger offensive linemen. We need more youth on the
Mhm.
offensive line. I agree. I would say that I mean having Cedric Tillman and guys like other guy. I think Jamari Thrash is probably going to take over for Elijah Moore. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm just seeing like you can see the way they're drafting and how they're bringing in guys. And if you look at the 2023 offseason with the draft and undrafted free agents, they did a pretty good job because you got
Mhm.
guys like Hickman and Diabate that weren't even drafted contributing. And you've got you still got two guys on the team that are starting from the 2020 was it 2021?
Mhm.
You got Grant
Um,
Delpit. Grant Delpit was 2020. What
yes.
if you could sit if JOK? I don't even know if they're going to play him at all the rest of the year. But Stefanski did say about just before I go on a
Yeah,
few.
yeah, yeah.
Stefanski did say that he's out for the Pittsburgh game, but we'll have an update when we get it to you. So he's still not going to play
What
this
do you
week.
think? I'm hearing some reports saying that he's, really
Done.
been. I mean, this could be like a career-ending.
I've heard that too. I'm basing it on what if that was the case, then he should have been on the season-ending IR. But
Okay, the fact
that's
that
the
they
thing.
haven't
They haven't
done
done
that.
that, so it's kind of maybe not, and that's just a lot more speculation. But they're not going to say anything. They're going to talk to you through what their actions are. So report on
Mhm.
what they do, not what they say. That's my
Right.
advice to
No,
anybody.
no, I got you. No, I got you. So Nick Chubb, though, I just go back to him for a quick
Well,
second. What do
just
you? Yeah,
The Cavs did beat the Wizards
I just
118 to
saw that. My
87. Yeah,
my
go
man,
ahead.
I got to give a shout out to my man Dean Wade. I know he's my
He came
buddy. I
back.
got
He played tonight.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, he had an injured ankle and stuff. But anyhow, the good news for me is it was my birthday last week, and I got a authentic Dean Wade jersey. So I
Score.
will be
Cool.
representing Dean, Kansas State Wildcat. Nick Chubb,
Yeah. What
yesterday's
about him?
game. Well, just overall the run game, and I had this question posed to me earlier today about the Browns threw the ball 58 times. They handed the ball off between Ford and Chubb 18 times, a difference of 40 plays. The Browns ran 84 plays on offense, but their time of possession was about this little, just more than like 3 minutes, maybe more than.
Three,
Anyway,
three or
getting back
five
to
minutes more than Denver. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, getting back to Chubb though, I guess he only had 6 carries in the first half. Now, I mean, both Ford and him had both 9. They weren't running the ball well. That's kind of going what we just talked about. I guess
Mhm.
is it just like what I mean? I was expecting more last night, from Chubb, and maybe Stefanski just thought that he just saw that he wasn't doing very well and wasn't hitting the gaps or the holes. I mean, should we just assume that it's
They
going to
went with
be
what worked. They went with what
yeah
worked, and the passing game was working. So I think they just kind of said, okay, instead of forcing a square peg into a round hole, we're gonna And I don't think Stefanski was a guy. Wasn't Dorsey calling the plays, if I'm not
Do
mistaken?
you bring Chubb back next year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't even hesitate. I don't.
Yeah.
I do.
You think the Browns will hesitate? Like, let's
No.
say a team like the Chiefs come in, or some other team like Buffalo, or somebody comes in and tries to sweep him off his feet. Would
Well, I mean, I don't think any team's going to want to do that.
okay.
I really don't see any team knocking on the door to get him
Yeah.
unless in the next 5 games he goes crazy.
Yeah.
But which is possible. I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible. But right now, I see the Browns being loyal to him and saying, "Hey, we understand this is like a 2-year recovery because they still have him on a snap count." And here
Yeah.
we are. We got 5 games left. We got 2 at home, which is a Kansas City at home and Miami at home.
Mhm.
And then we also have we got I think 3 divisional road games, right? We got the Steelers, then the Bengals. The Bengals is on a Sunday now, and then
Right.
the last game at Baltimore. So
I'm
there's a
yeah, I'm
lot.
thinking about going down to that Sunday game in Cincinnati, but we're still talking about it. But
All right.
um,
Yeah, have fun with that. Yeah.
yeah, let me ask you, David Njoku now leads the Cleveland Browns in all-time touchdown catches. Did you see that stat earlier today?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
29 touchdowns.
What is it?
He's
Most
ahead
since
of
'99. Most since
yeah.
'99.
Braylon Edwards is at 28. Amari Cooper was 16. Gordon 16, and Jarvis Landry at 15. What do you think about David Njoku is one of those guys. I think I've talked to you about him. I know you probably like him more than I do. I'm not the biggest Chief fan.
Hmm.
He made some incredible. This is his mo. He makes these amazing catches, and then
But
he
he dropped the
drops
easy
the
ones.
easy
Yeah.
ones that are potentially not maybe game changers, but they're momentum killers. Like he had at least 2 or 3 that I'd have to go back and watch the tape, but there were at least 2 passes where if he catches the ball that were catchable passes, then the Browns continue a drive or something. I don't know. What do you think of his game last night?
I thought he had a good game, but I thought other ones really outshined him, like your Elijah Moore and Jerry Judy. I mean, they were just so. I mean, that was just so
right?
dynamic. That's what it was. But Njoku, he made that great touchdown catch.
Oh,
That was
oh
sweet.
yeah,
So yeah, so that I give him props for that. And then Nick Chubb touchdown. Nick Chubb had a touchdown catch too.
yes, yeah.
So 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and 2 of them were pick sixes. I mean, it's like shit.
I just
It's like
I
damn.
hate these people too that come on social media and they're like, "Oh, well, combined he had 6 touchdowns because he threw 2 for 171 yards on pick plays." I'm like, "Oh, just
Oh,
stop it." That,
that's when I go F off.
right,
That's when
right,
I get angry because you know what, anybody can be a troll and get on the internet, and most likely by the way the
yeah.
guy looks, the only thing athletic he ever did his whole life was run his mouth. That's it.
I
So yeah.
so we've kind of the other I saw some other questions being thrown around Brown's social
Hmm.
media.
Hmm.
We've already kind of covered some of it, talking about Winston and what the season would have looked like, what Troy Aikman talked about on the air, if they had not gone to Watson for the first 7 games of the season. Um, and do you think like the again the defense, the struggles they've had this year have been more connected to what basically happened that first 7 or 8 games of the season with Watson? It's more connected to that. Is it like an emotion, like what we said earlier? Is that because of the fact that our offense was so damn dreadful, and we couldn't score, and we were putting the defense on the
Oh,
field?
absolutely. I agree
Yeah,
with that. Yeah, it was the opposite of complimentary football. I said, I mean, it was just
yeah.
defense plus with the turnovers and the sacks, and we're just giving them short fields. There was so much stuff. Now the defense did underperform too. Don't get
Mhm.
me wrong, but it wasn't as bad as that people think it is. So I mean, and I know when you have press conferences with guys like Barry and Stefanski, they're not going to say anything. They're
Let me
just
ask you
not.
this: the press conference last night with Winston, where I'll read the quote.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I heard this. I know what
I'm
you're going to
just
say.
praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes, and
Yes.
he's so damn genuine. Like he's like at the preacher on a pulpit. I mean, when he's talking, I mean he was.
He's
And
very charismatic.
well,
Yeah.
I'll say this too, like I mean, to hear him and to see Jerry Judy and stuff talking about things after the game. I mean, you could really tell that it really did. They really wanted the win, and it wasn't, so I thought that's a good sign. Like you talked about, what can we build on?
Yeah.
And
Well, the other thing too, did you hear what Aikman said? He said, well, how can I put this? He goes, they're not playing like a 3-9 team.
right.
He said that.
It's so
So
damn terrible though. Like you think like we're
it's
three and
heartbreaking.
nine. It's
It's
3-9.
heartbreaking.
And ugh.
It's heartbreaking.
When
It's like
we've been three and
we're
nine
better than
before.
this. Yeah, we're better than this.
How
This
many
is the best,
years have we been 3-9? I mean, a ton
and we
in
sucked.
the last. And we were really, but this year it's like we got all this entertainment and it, but we didn't have this until Winston came on. And now this team, offensively and defensively, especially offensively,
Hmm.
my God, I mean, Jerry Judy, Elijah Moore. I mean, you can go down
Yeah,
the
yeah.
line. Everyone is playing more inspired. I mean,
Everybody's playing better. It seems like just the offense overall is playing better, and I think honestly, just what I think it is they're looking they're focusing on trying to win games while building towards 2025. Okay, how do we start carrying this stuff over? What can we build to carry over here? What can we do to get this straightened out? And yeah, like firing everybody and cleaning house isn't the answer because I don't think that's needed. I don't think it is. I
yeah.
don't think it's going to take much
Well,
to
there
turn
was
this
that little
around.
period of time where we were all like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were all kind of like not. I mean, there were a lot of us fans, and maybe not you, but at least I was like, no. But I mean, I think there was this time where, with everything that was going on with Watson and then the coach and stuff, now at least I think we have like what you're hearing today and from us and from other people that follow the team is that we're getting a little bit more clearer picture of, like Nathan Zagura said, moving forward, what we need to do.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
focus
yeah.
is becoming a little bit more I mean, it's becoming more in focus.
Here's an interesting stat about the Cavaliers tonight. They
Ooh,
had 7 players with double-digit scores.
uh-huh.
7.
Mhm.
7 guys had double
That's like some of my middle school and high school basketball teams. I always prided myself on having a collective group effort, and That's why the Cavs. I mean, man, they're
Yeah, just I don't mean to just get
no.
that was a team
Hey,
effort.
let's
Yeah.
pause for a quick break. I want to talk to you about Pittsburgh, the game coming up. Let's
Yeah.
pause for a quick break. This is the Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi and Johnny Cleveland. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the Stirring the Pot show. We play the Squealers again on Sunday.
Yes, we do.
I was asked by some Steeler fans recently, you know, the fact that we beat them in the Snow Globe game. Where coming off of this loss now for the Browns against Denver, having beaten Pittsburgh's got a home game. Russell Wilson had one of the games of his life last week against the Bungles. Where are we at? Where you feel we're at as the Browns team? Are we going to be? Did we put all our energy into winning that game in Denver? And we're going to lay an egg in Pittsburgh again because it's a tough place to play.
You're just so positive.
No,
John.
no, I'm saying I'm posing what if, or where do you think we're at?
I think we're going to have the effort. I think you're going to see an effort. I think we want to see good, clean football. We want to see the effort. I think this team's going to try to win the game. They're going to go out there and they're going to play hard. Whether they win the game or not, we'll see. And I did write an article. I submitted it today as a preview, and I said you're going to see an effort from the Browns. The question is the effort going to be enough to win? So,
yeah,
I mean, because I said winning in Pittsburgh is not easy. It's not easy to do, especially when that stadium's filled. The last time we won in Pittsburgh, that was an empty stadium because of COVID.
Yes. Good point.
That was my point there. So, but what were you about to say about Nick Chubb?
No, just Nick Chubb that's the game where he lost his season-ending, had a season-ending injury a season ago, going back to Pittsburgh. It would be so cool to see Nick Chubb break one there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him score touchdowns there. Yeah.
So you think we got a chance, is what you're saying?
Oh, like what is that? Like what was that? Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a thing.
Is that what it was?
Even if the chance is very, very small.
Well, they're 6-point underdogs.
Are they 6-point?
Yeah, they were 6-point underdogs. We were underdogs going into the game at home, and everybody was expecting to get blown out, and Stefanski was going to get fired, just like that happens all the time when we lose to Pittsburgh. We get our coach fired, and then before the game, I think it was Adam Schefter, Albert Breer, and Ian Rappaport all came out and said, we're not hearing that from our sources inside the organization. And I think my point being was, if you're Jimmy Haslam and you're a multi-billionaire owner and you're sitting there and you got millions of dollars on the field, millions of dollars invested in this team, and this product's at 3-9 or whatever the record was when he started meeting with these, maybe 1-6 or 1-7, you're going to sit down and go with them. Okay, how are we fixing this? What are we doing wrong? You know, that before you clean house, you want to try to fix it. But go ahead.
With this game's on Sunday, we already talked about the Denver and how we went to the passing game exclusively, 58 passes, 18 rushes between Ford and Chubb. What happens? I mean, I believe that we have to have a more balanced effort.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's got a really good defense, especially in Pittsburgh. Denver does too. Denver has a really
absolutely. I was very impressed with Denver's defense.
I was impressed with Denver as a team. Sean Payton's doing a really good job over there. I'll give credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
you know,
it's funny that Sean Payton got rid of Russell Wilson, and now we're going to go up against Russell Wilson. And the Pittsburgh fans are all happy because they've got him now. And what about Justin Fields? By the way, do you think?
What about him?
Well,
do you see the Browns going after him?
Well, that was my next question. Yes, is that a possibility?
I tell you the truth, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that it would, like, if you got a guy like a Jameis Winston, putting this much energy and excitement into your offense, if you could work with them on the turnovers, why not keep them? Meanwhile, Justin Fields, really, he's been in the league. You know what you got with him. And the offense that Pittsburgh had when Fields was starting was not that good. No. Russell Wilson actually has done better as their starter.
So do you like Winston? Okay, so the last year, and I know the situation is different because
you talk about with Flacco?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I know the situation was different too because going into this season, we
Hmm.
knew that Deshaun Watson was going to return. Now
Hmm.
we're in this different element where
It's
we're
different.
basically saying no. So now Winston, I mean, I want Winston to come back. I've already written about it. I
Oh,
believe that
I'm
that
all
could be.
for it. I'm all for it. I love him. I love having him around. I mean, I
But
wish I
I thought
could.
I've heard. I mean, I've heard. I don't know, just out there in social media that Justin Fields could be a name. The other name I've heard repeatedly is Kirk Cousins, the journeyman who's been around. He's
But you already got Winston. I mean, why?
right.
Why?
No, I'm just unless they don't offer Winston. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Well, I think there's an old saying like, "Why go out for milk when you got a cow at home?" So, yeah, so it's just we have the
right,
cow. We have the
right.
cow. So why?
Well,
Why?
and I think Winston is experiencing that Cleveland love affair that we give to when we like somebody, and I think that
Baker
he,
Mayfield's seen it too. Yeah.
yeah,
And for the record, when Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles tendon and he was carried off the field, the people that were cheering, most of them were Bengals fans. Most of them were
yeah,
Bengals fans that
yeah,
were doing that. It wasn't the
yeah,
Browns fans. You had to be there to see it, and that
yeah.
"you deserve it" chant did not happen. Somebody edited
No,
it into a reel. That I was
it,
there. It
yeah,
didn't happen,
yeah,
and it was just that's what shocked me when I saw that on Instagram. I'm like, no, that didn't happen. My wife showed it to me. I was like,
hmm.
no, that's not what happened, man. So
People are asking in Pittsburgh about Pickens and like Greg Newsom. What do you think about like what I've told them is like Greg Newsom is can be a hothead sometimes, but Pickens obviously has some emotional problems because he got kicked out of the Bungles game on Sunday. That
did he get kicked out?
he
I know
did, yeah.
he got because I know he got a second in one sportsman like.
Oh, I thought he got kicked out. He didn't get kicked out.
They didn't get. I don't think they ejected him for it. I don't think, but I know he got a second one, but it
Okay,
wasn't
they
the one
got
that
a second one. Okay,
because
well,
he did the gun motion. He did
yeah.
something like that.
What
It
a
was just
moron. Gosh, they've got some great wide receivers. I miss uh Lynn Swan. I miss
oh
those.
well yeah. It's a different time. Well, plus you remember Chase Claypool, they got rid of him,
Oh God,
and
what an idiot
Antonio
too. Yeah,
Brown.
that
They had these guys that were like that. Yeah, Pickens. I know the league was reviewing the fight that he got into with Newsom at the end of the last game.
yes.
So if you, we'll
Well,
see.
I'll give it what Denzel Denzel Ward for us. What a nice effort yesterday. Got the tip. Greg Newsom got the interception, and then Denzel gets this interception later in the game. So
Mhm.
now the Browns have 4 interceptions as a team defense,
Yeah,
which isn't at the bottom right now. So they have 4. So maybe we'll get a couple more
hopefully
when
that'd
we
be nice.
go over to
It,
Pittsburgh. The weather
it,
sounds like it's going to be pretty decent too. So
I haven't seen any forecast yet. What are they saying? 30s,
there's
sunny.
40s, like 40. Well, at least in where we're at here in Columbus, they're talking like mid 40s. So I Pittsburgh's weather is usually similar.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I mean we get lake effect.
How much snow do you got up there, by the way?
Well, where I'm at, not that
Yeah.
much, maybe a
No.
couple inches, but I'm in
Okay.
the snow belt. I'm in the snow belt, but my part of the snow belt didn't get affected as like Lake County right above me got
Right.
nailed with like a foot and a half. For
Right.
me,
So like
I'm
we were just up there and we were at the Geneva on the lake. I heard they got pounded
oh
a
yeah,
lot yeah.
Ashtabula up that way. See, I'm
Yeah.
in Geauga County. I'm a little bit farther south
Yeah.
and more west, and
Yeah.
yeah,
We
because
just
right
get
north.
cold. We just have snow flurries down here in Columbus and no snow. And I'm like, damn, I like it's not even it's 25 degrees. We need to have snow on the ground.
Yeah, yeah, when it's that cold, it's just like I said, it's just that way. I'm not making any predictions on Sunday. I'm just going to say the thing is I don't think there's a problem with the team culture, and I don't think
Mhm.
there's a problem with a lack of effort.
Okay.
N- I think there was problems with people that were underperforming in key positions at the beginning of the year, including your Jed Wills and Deshaun Watsons,
Yeah.
that led to that. And there's some guys that that were veteran guys that just weren't doing it. Like was it Quentin Johnson, the defensive tackle we signed? We cut him loose. We traded Zadarius Smith, and Zadarius Smith was doing okay, but we got something for him.
Mhm.
And we want to put in our young guys to play. And Isaiah McGuire made a couple good plays too yesterday. And you think about it,
Ah. Mhm.
I'm trying to think. There was who's the guy that got hurt that was out for the year from at the Jaguars? Alex Wright.
Yes, Alex Wright.
It's
Yep.
Yeah, he's a great, great promising player. Another Andrew Berry draft pick. So there's guys that are still that he's drafted that are on the team contributing. So I don't think his draft record is as bad as people are making it sound.
Jerry Judy right now, like, looking at his stats earlier today too. His like
Fifth round
he's
pick. Yeah, we got him
yeah,
for
and
nothing.
this is his best season, second best season, and he's still got 5 games left.
And he's top 5 amongst receivers now in the NFL
It's
in yard
amazing. Yeah.
in yardage with what
Let's
game.
see if
Yeah.
he can keep it up. This, I
We'll see
think
what
yeah,
let's see what we could do in Pittsburgh. Like I said, it was entertaining, but I'm glad that I'm not looking to be entertained. Are you not entertained? I want to win,
yeah.
and I want to see what they're building for next year and see what they do. And I would say I don't know the exact offseason dates for 2025, but I think by March of 2025, you'll see Chubb signed to maybe a 1 or 2 year deal. I think a 2 year deal for Winston. I think those two things are
I
going to
think
happen
it's
before they even
important too, though. The end of this season, the Browns have got to get like another win or two, and I think they need to have like consecutive wins to show us that they can put a
win.
string of wins together. Because if
I,
they don't, and they go into the season and they
yeah.
don't, like, they win, let's say they win one more game out of the next 5, and they end up the season at
No,
4.
I think they got a chance against Cincinnati because we match up well against
Sure.
them. I think they got a chance against Miami because it's still, as of right now, a Sunday night game,
Right.
and it's going to be cold. I'm going to be down there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's going to be a cold game, meaning that it's going to be very cold. So
Yes. Well, and we can play spoiler too. Like, I
yeah,
think
we
you
could play,
mentioned that.
and then we go to Baltimore, and Baltimore might rest all their starters for that game.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
mean, you have opportunities to win a couple more. Okay, we win 3, we go 6 and
So
11.
we got Pittsburgh, Kansas City,
Cincinnati,
Cincinnati, Miami, and then Baltimore.
Baltimore. Yep,
Okay.
one game at a time. What if we pull off the upset on Sunday? What if we
Oh,
do that?
yeah.
That would be huge. I mean, then we don't. That would be amazing to beat Pittsburgh twice this year. I mean, considering like where we could be now. Like I said, and I'm not predicting it, but what if that does happen? Boy, a lot changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And people in Pittsburgh are going to be calling for Tomlin's head, just like everybody in Columbus is
Yeah,
calling
but
for Ryan Day's
Pittsburgh's
head.
9-3 right now, correct? Or
Yeah,
no,
but
10-2?
still, yeah. Well, I just saw on the college football playoff show, Ohio State's going to Tennessee for the college football playoff.
Oh,
Yeah, they're like the 9th ranked team.
okay.
They're the 9th ranked team. So the winner of that game will go to Oregon.
So
So
that's the actual, like, they're locked in now?
that's what it says here, but it's either December 20th or 21st.
Okay.
So that's the college football playoff. So that I saw that on there was one of the podcasts that because I like
Are you a Ryan Day fan?
Not today. I was okay with them until after the game on Saturday, and I thought that was inexcusable. That was 100% inexcusable. There was no excuse for that. They only have themselves to blame. I do like the fact that when they tried to put the flag down, that we said, "Fuck you, you're not doing it." But what would have stopped it more is if you won the fucking game.
Right.
So that's just, I hate to say it, but guys, Ryan, that's unacceptable.
Right.
That is unacceptable. Are you the next John Cooper? What's going on here? So this can't go. This can't fly. And I think it's like there were some guys were talking on another podcast. I can't remember which one it was, but there it's like it's almost like he gets the yips against Michigan for some reason
Yes,
because
he does.
all this.
It's all mental right now.
It's just like you can't let this happen. You just go out and trust your process and trust your system and go. So anyway,
well, we'll see who they'll bring in next. I'm sure you have some thoughts.
I had an article. I don't know if you saw it. I had a theory about
did.
Mike Vrabel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike. But people were commenting, were saying the Browns need him. And I was like, okay. But I just said, if a guy that would make sense, a guy with ties to the Ohio State, an alumnus that has head coaching experience, that you think, you talk about a guy that brings that fire, it would be him.
Absolutely. Well, Lou, I hope you have a good night.
I hope you do too, man.
Go Brownies.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's almost 10
big
o'clock
game
already.
on Sunday. Again, they're going to play the Steelers. I know you have to get
bedtime.
I'm exhausted, dude. Like most Browns fans today are like, ugh. But you got to have the energy drinks and we'll be fine. The Browns get a chance to get back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Some more dramatics, hopefully, from Jedrick Wills. No, not Jedrick Wills. Winston. Wills is hopefully on a bus headed to Mexico.
Yeah. Wills is gonna. My prediction about Jed Wills is I don't think he'll be in the league next year.
That you're probably not far off. I wouldn't disagree with you completely.
Somebody might give him a chance, but I can just see him not. He just doesn't seem like his heart's in football anymore. Which, hey, if it's not there for you and you don't want to do it, then hey, that's just my theory. I'm just basing it on his body language and what I saw on the field.
Oh yeah, I think he misses. I still think he misses Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, me might. A lot of people miss Baker Mayfield.
So you got another show. What are your shows coming up later this week? You have Burning River Browns Talk.
Burning River Browns Talk on Friday. We're going to do that show. Yeah, and I got my wrestling one on tomorrow actually. Yeah, okay. I got the Stewcast tomorrow.
The Stewcast. Any more articles coming out?
Yeah.
What's your article coming out tomorrow? Do you know?
I got a Steelers preview article, and I'm going to do my Cavs Wizards summary article.
Okay. See you, Lou. Nice seeing you.
Appreciate the support. Thank you.
Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi and Johnny Cleveland.
Victory Monday. We'll be here next week. Monday, 9:15.
That's right. See everybody later. Go Brownies.
This guy's.
Yeah, we're not gonna carry those comments. See everybody later. Take care, everybody.
Take care.